Here's your host, Clay Nelson.
Hey, hi there. This is the Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour, and I'm Clay Nelson. Next to me is Susan Nelson. Everybody's been calling in and calling my offices, who is the blonde? The blonde is Susan, and she's awesome. She's been training me for years on how not to worry. Now, the show today is all about giving up worry. If you have some, this show is for you. So, worrying. What is worry? Worry is it's just a mindset that you worry about stuff. Either you want to control somebody and you think you can't, or you're worried about something that's going to happen and you're not sure if it's going to, or you're worried about what somebody's going to think, or how about this? You're worried about something that, you can't control, but it's like somebody's in the hospital, something may happen, or you're worried about, I said something to someone, and I'm not quite sure if they understood how I meant it. I wonder what they're making up. You're worried about what they might be making up and whether you've offended somebody or, whatever. And there's also worried about, oh, my gosh, it's like every time I do a radio show or I give a speech or do anything like that, it's always, wow, I wonder how I looked, how I did I say the right thing? Did I come across right? Was I on time? Did I slur more than 17 words? Because 17 is my max of slurring. And I do that. Or what the heck's happening? And if you really care about your life and you really care about the lives of others, and you really care about the block you're living on, you really care about the car you're driving, you really care about the animals you have, and you really care about your pet parakeet, and you really care about moms and dads and kids and so on and so forth, you worry. So what do we do about this? How do we handle worry? And how can we turn worry into a powerful tool that has us be present to what we need to be present to, but not be stopped? So think about that,
Well,
So,
Clay,
yeah,
in thinking about the show for today, I was thinking about what worry is for me.
Yeah.
And it seems to be combined with fear and, just stuff I make up. So I wrote down what I thought about fear and worry.
Oh, cool. Go ahead.
So fear, for me, it's an emotional stop that keeps me from moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Worry is my mind chatter that keeps me in my fear, and the worry that can grow with the thoughts that I make up about what I'm fearful of.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't necessarily stop me, but sometimes not sometimes, most of the time it can cause physical and emotional distress.
Yeah.
So it's between fear and worry, there's a lot of negativity, and it's not a real fun place to be.
Yeah, sometimes you can be so worried and so full of fear that you're walking around and you don't see the corner of the table and you walk into it. There's the pain part. Ow! Where'd that come from? Or you walk into a wall, or you're walking down the steps and you forget there's another step, and you step down and you wrench your hip and all kinds.
And then you become fearful that it's going to happen again, and then you worry about it. And
yeah, so it just perpetuates itself. So it's about worry is something that most people do really well, but there's a difference between someone who worries and allows the worry to stop them versus the person that worries and doesn't allow the worry to stop them. Now think about that. If you're stopped by the worry, or if the fear is so high that it stops you, then the worry and the fear takes over. And where does worry get you? Usually it doesn't get you anywhere except for loss of time, loss of energy, and a lot of times loss of sleep, huh? Mm-hmm. Gee, how do I know that, Susan?
I don't imagine.
I mean, there's only been, maybe 1,000 consecutive nights where I've waked up in the middle of the night either worried about a client, or worried about my kids, or worried about my mom, or worried about something, or worried about my health, or worried about, am I going to be able to actually do 10 stairs over at the stadium? Worried about finance, worried about your mother, worried about all kinds of things, And it's
Do you
not
ever
like,
worry about me?
Oh, yeah, worried about Susan. Now, there's the majority of the worrying. How to do it. That was good.
That was nice.
Oh, good save on that one. All right. Now, so how many times have you been someone that worries themselves practically to death, or something, that didn't ever end up happening? You just worry, and you can't change it. It didn't happen, but you just worry about it. Or how about how worried we can get when something is absolutely, you can't control it. You are absolutely unable to have anything to say in the outcome. Yet you feel like something's going to happen. Like, have you ever been sitting in an airport, which I have many, many times, and there was a time in my career where I'd worry about whether the plane was going to be on time. Now I've got what I call airport persona, and when I sit in the airport, I have my airport persona on, and I just read a book, make a phone call, and just kind of go with the flow, if you will.
Clay Nelson, airport persona.
Yeah.
It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it is. She wants to. Whenever
I wish you would bring it home more often.
Yes. As you sit around with people who are saying humans are not meant to fly.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to eliminate worry. One is don't. Just don't worry. And the truth is about that, you can't not worry. You always worry about things. You're worried about people that are going off to a place that you can't, that maybe there's some aggressive activity going on. We call it war. Or you're worried about running out of gas. Driving down the freeway and there's another half a gallon in the tank, but you're worried about maybe there's not. And you're on the freeway going 80 miles an hour. Or in my case, 65 miles an hour because I'm a law-abiding citizen. Precisely. Okay, now. So now think about it. What good has worrying ever done for you or for someone else or for you, Susan? Worrying about me.
It hasn't done me a lick of good. But what it does is it causes me to think about, okay, so if I'm being this worried, what can I do to put in place so I don't worry? And what I come up with is I have to put positive thoughts in place.
Oh, you mean change worry to thinking positive? Oh, no, there's a thought. I call that planting a seed, ladies and gentlemen. In this particular case, we just dropped a tree. That was a big one. It's all about taking, how do you change worry? So what did you say? The way you change it.
I put in a positive thought. Instead of saying, I'm concerned about, as you gave the example of somebody going off to war.
Yeah.
I'm really worried about them. I'm concerned about them. Are they going to come home alive? Are they going to have, their leg blown off? Whatever it might be.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Instead, say, whoever it is, that name, and put a positive thought with it. Like, John is going to come home safely. He's not going to encounter any terrible deeds.
Yeah, so then it goes back to, whatever you put out in the world is what you get back. If you put worry, negative, and dastardly type things happening to people,
that's what you're going to get.
That's just what's going to happen.
Yep.
Did you write this show for me at this time of my life right now? Am I supposed to be getting something here? Whoa. Okay, so now, worry, defined by Webster, is a mental distress or agitation resulting from concern, usually for something impending or anticipated. Wow, now that's a mouthful, okay? In other words, we allow our incredible make-it-up machines' brains to worry and stress us out on things that might or might not happen in the future.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
Wow. In other words, we make stuff up about what we've made up. That's really what I'm saying. So if we'd stop making stuff up, which we won't, then we can do what Susan says. Why, instead of making up negative, why don't we make up positive? See, so think about that. Then we allow the worry and stress to dominate what we do and say around our circumstances. We allow what we don't know, all right, or what we think. Now think about that. We allow what we don't know or what we think or make up, all right, to get in the way of what we do know and all the rational thinking. So we are our own worst problems. Our creative minds are our own worst problems. So when you really talk it through, it sounds absolutely crazy, yet this is what humans do. So why do we worry? Now, I'm going to go on a break now, and I'll be back in a few minutes. But when we come back, we're going to talk about why we worry, what are some of the examples of some really good worry. We're going to take some phone calls. And by the way, you can call in at long distance, 805-564-1290, or you can call in free for 866-564-1290, or what's best, as is already happening, you can email me at clay@mediasb.com, okay? It's really cool. Now, you're listening to Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on KZSB AM 1290. Get on back here.